Step inside the dugout. I'm Alec, and this is the Sports Breakdown MLB show. Today on the show, you get my top 6 waiver wire ads for Waiver Wire 2.0, as well as a breakdown of Rays reliever Ian Seymour and his breakout season he's having. But let's get started with said waiver wire. And the first guy on the waiver wire is starting pitcher Michael Soroka of the Diamondbacks, 55% rostered. I don't understand why his roster rate, 1 week it goes up to like 60 to 65%. Then the next week it's all the way down to 55% like it is this week. He needs to be, I know he's had a couple bad starts over the last week and a half, but he needs to be added in all leagues. Michael Soroka needs to be added in every league, categories, points, season long. Second one is catcher Sean Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. And I'm doing these based off of Yahoo Sports Fantasy Baseball roster rate. 2% roster for Sean Murphy. If you need help with catcher, highly recommend adding Sean Murphy. He just came back from the IL. He's going to be playing basically every day, either behind the plate, catching, or he's going to be DHing. And I would go ahead and add him if you need help with catching. My third waiver wire ad is Ian Seymour of the Tampa Bay Rays, 7% roster. It seems like people are starting to buy into this slow breakout that's happening with Ian Seymour. He did pick up a save the other day for the Rays against the Blue Jays. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be the closer, but he is having a nice little season, a 1 ERA and a 1 WHIP so far in the last week and a half for Ian Seymour. He's up to 7% rostered. We need to get him over 10% by next week when I do this. The next guy is another Ray. It is outfielder Chandler Simpson, 74% rostered. So he's the only guy on this list that is close enough to being ineligible for the waiver wire because it's under 80% roster. He's at 74 right now, and he's not going to get you power. He will get you RBIs and stolen bases, which are two key things in fantasy baseball that everybody needs on their team. If you're struggling in the outfield with Trent Grisham or whoever your outfielders are in fantasy baseball, and you feel like you need to add somebody, if Chandler Simpson is out there on your waiver wire, pick him up. I would go add him. Next is Bryce Eldridge, first baseman of the San Francisco Giants. He is 16% rostered. He just got recalled on Monday. And he's been doing okay since his recall from AAA. And if you need help at first base because you have a struggling guy like a Vinny Pasquantino who's starting to break out of it, or you just want to play the guy that's hot, or you want to pick up a young prospect like Bryce Eldridge, I would do it. And the last guy, I don't know how many times I have to talk about him before you add him in fantasy baseball. It is Kyle Harrison of the Milwaukee Brewers, 60% rostered. Please add Kyle Harrison if you need help with pitching. Please, I'm begging you, add Kyle Harrison so I can stop talking about him on the waiver wire. And the full waiver wire list for Waiver Wire 2.0 is up on the sportsbreakdown.net website. We're in the process of changing the YouTube name to the Daily Sports Playbook. And it should be that process should be over within the next couple days. But now to talking about the breakdown of Ian Seymour of the Rays. If you give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry about this. Here we go. Now we get to the breakdown. So, Ian Seymour. On this season, he's got a 5 ERA. But as I've said, over the last week and a half, he's pitched a lot better for the Rays. We're first going to look at his player appearances and his illustrator, lefties and righties, pitch usage. Against righties, he uses the changeup 25%. 20. What the heck? 26% of the time, correction. He uses the slider 25%, 14% on the four-seam fastball. And then he has a couple other pitches that he mixes in I think it's a sweeper or a slurve 22% of the time. That's against lefties. Against righties, he uses that changeup 40% of the time. Then the slider 17, 24 on the fastball. Slurve 12%, and then the other two. But let's look at his savant. Let's look at his percentile rankings. So, pitching run value. If it's in the blue, it's poor. Average is in the middle. Great. So, his breaking run value is a 3, which is in the 88th percentile, which is very good. Off-speed run value, 60th percentile, which is okay. Pitching, his expected ERA is a 4.35, which is 43rd percentile, which is average. Average on the batting average against at 247, which is in the 48th percentile. And these metrics, you can go on Baseball Savant anytime you want and look up any pitcher or hitter, and it'll tell you the percentile rankings that they're in. So his fastball velo is poor. It's in the 5th percentile at 90.9%. Average exit velo is in the 19th percentile at 90.9 as well. Chase rate is great. It is at a 35.8%, 90th percentile. Whiff rate, 79th percentile, almost 30% on the whiff rate. K rate, 26%, 73%, 73rd percentile. Walk based on balls percentage, basically. 43rd percentile, 9.6. Barrel percentage is poor. It is at a 9. It's in the 9th percentile at 13%. Hard hit rate is at in the 41st percentile at 41.3. Ground ball rate is poor. It's in the 19th percentile at 34.8. Hard hit rate was at 41.3. And his extension, which I don't really know what that means, is 37th percentile, 6.3. Now, let's look at some splits for Mr. Seymour. So, in May so far, he's pitched 4 and a third innings, batter space 17. He's given up 3 hits. 3. Struck out 3, walked 1, with an ERA of 0 and a whip of .92, which means he's given up 4 hits. Whip is watch the hits per innings pitched. So he's given up 3, maybe 4 hits this month so far in May. He's 1-0. He does have a save. And it's a pre-All-Star break. He's 1-0 with a 5 ERA, 16 games, 1 save, 17 in the third innings, 76 batters for 17 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned, 1 home run, giving up 7 walks, 20 strikeouts with a 136 whip. So his base runner splits with the bases empty. 14 games pitched, 7 innings, 35 batters faced, 10 hits given up, no earned runs. He has given up a home run, walked 3, struck out 10, a 196 whip with the bases loaded in 2 appearances, 2 games, and a third of an inning, 1 batter faced, no hits, didn't give up a run, didn't strike out, and he struck out 1, didn't walk anybody. Nope. The problem, runners on second and third, is an issue for him. He has a 12 whip with runners on second and third. Runners in scoring position for Ian Seymour, because this is still his savant page, I believe. Yes, this is still his. So scoring position, a 120 whip with 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and 20 batters faced, 5 hits given up. So, and in game splits, so home games, he's got a .96 ERA with a .75 whip. Away games, he's got almost a 10 ERA and a 204 whip. Day games are not his favorite thing. 7 ERA and a 144 whip. Night games. He's got a 2, almost just above a 3 ERA with a 129 whip. Leading off inning, he's at 3 2/3. He's given up 4 hits, a home run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He's got a 191 whip. And then late/close game, 7 games in that situation, 5 1/3, 20 batters faced, no hits, no runs, none earned. In night games, he's given up 3 runs, 3 earned, 5 hits, no homers. He's given up 1 homer leading off an inning and 1 homer in away games and day games. Nothing late or close. So I'm going to say this right now. The Ian Seymour breakout season is here. And I just talked about him in the waiver wire. And you just saw his baseball savant page. I know there's some outlying stats on that page that might scare you away from him, but give him a shot on the waiver wire. Also, ladies and gentlemen, tonight at 4:45 is another episode of Around the Diamond podcast with Bradley and I. And then tonight at 7:10, I will be doing another play-by-play for the Tampa Bay Rays game. It is the Rays and Red Sox first game of that series, and I will be doing play-by-play for it on this channel, as well as on Monday night. I will also be doing another play-by-play for the Rays. But that's going to wrap up this episode of Inside the Dugout Sports Breakdown MLB Show. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday morning.